You are going to get two things from this video. Firstly, I'm going to tell you how pro runners train for endurance races and how we can learn from that to be better runners ourselves. Secondly, you get to watch me dramatically fall apart in a half marathon in Vietnam that I had in no way trained for. Perhaps actually, yeah, that should be point number one. Pro runners actually train for races.
You didn't think you were just going to get to see me fall apart in a race without me giving you the background, did you? So I'm here in Vietnam, in Hanoi actually, first time ever. This is my bib.
I am on the struggle bus.
And this whole video is based on an article I read about some people that essentially studied real world examples of how pro runners train. They consolidated all the information and gave us tips so that you and me could put that into our training, so like real world examples. The study actually found some amazing stuff, but here are the caveats. The first thing is that progress, proper progress, was seen over 8 to 10 years of time. But do you know what? That doesn't mean that we still can't apply it to ourselves. We're just walking to the start line now. In not many hours, we're going to be back standing literally over there. And one last thing before I hilariously fall apart in a race, it's worth knowing that all of the endurance athletes, elite athletes, from 5K to 10K to half marathon to marathon, they all trained in 3 periods throughout their season, and that was prep, competition, and transition. Now, for us, we probably know that more as base, then build, stroke, peak, and then transition also. But it's the same principles. Everybody kind of has 3 phases.
Alright, it's 2:30 in the morning. We're running to the start line, having our warm-up. I don't know how I'm going to remember all these facts to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you, my brain's not working, but I do remember that pro athletes, what was very interesting is before they increase their volume, they increase their frequency of runs. So pro athletes do about 11 to 14 runs per week, whereas us mere mortals probably do 4 to 5. So if they had a 15-kilometer run, rather than do it in one hit, they'd probably do a 7 and an 8. Oh, bike coming past us. So rather than have their runs get longer and longer and longer, they try and add more runs into their week, thereby, I guess, keeping them safe.
Another thing pros do well is that they don't race above their distance that they're training for. It confuses the body. So if I was training for a 10K, I wouldn't be standing on this start line. There are subtle differences and needs between endurance distances. They do race under, but not over distance. And their peak weeks, training-wise, are usually between 2 and 4 weeks before their race, depending on the distance they're racing and their preference, which rings true with what we already know about the taper. So far, not really that different from us after all.
I might as well let you in on my race plan. The aim for this race is pretty simple, is negative split. So run the second half of the race faster than the first half. That's it. I've had 2 half marathons previously to this, the last couple of months. One I went out too hard and one I finished strong. And I know which one was the most enjoyable experience, so we're going to try for that one. So right now I'm aiming for between 3:45 and 3:50 a kilometre, with an average overall of 3:45 by the end of the race. Would be nice. .348 and then 3:43, so probably went a little bit too hard in that second kilometre. Gonna back off a little bit, but feeling pretty good. Heart rates are only just into zone 3. 18:47 for the first 5K. That felt alright. Trying to keep it that I can push in the second half, but it's feeling alright so far.
I think the biggest difference that the study found between us average Joes and those pro runners is generally the volume that they covered in a week. From 5 and 10K runners still covering 100 to 140 kilometers a week, which is a lot. And then half marathon and marathon runners getting anywhere up to 160 to over 200 kilometers per per week. And if you compare that to me, I don't even get to 100 kilometers on my biggest training weeks. So that's a huge difference there, and a lot of the difference there will be the volume of easy runs.
No excuses today. There is just nothing in my legs whatsoever. Like, bolt completely shot. Now running at 4:10s a kilometre, which is easy run usually. It is what it is sometimes, but it does mean I can tell you about how pros train for half marathons if I can get my breath back. This is mad. The legs are just completely missing. Heart rate is barely above zone 2, but I cannot turn my legs over any quicker. And I'm running like 4:10s, 4:15s a kilometre. I am on the struggle bus in a big way. What is happening? I've had a gel. Shouldn't be an energy problem. Big female got me now. But there's nothing I can do. Just got to keep getting to the finish line. Have about 3K. So when those that did the study consolidated all the data, it was really interesting, because what they found pretty much across the board is that pro athletes have 2 to 3 interval sessions a week, 1 long run, and then the rest they just supplement with as much easy running as their body can take. So we can easily scale that down for us. Trying to run a sub 4 last kilometre. That's all I can give.
One really interesting finding to come out of the study, and something that we don't do, is that even marathon runners do strides a few times a week. These are short 60 to 100 meter sprints with gradual acceleration, and they're never done after hard sessions, but often as part of a warm-up or after the easy runs. These are mainly performed to minimize the negative impact of aerobic conditioning on maximal sprint speed, which basically means so your legs remember what fast is.
Thank you. Nice medal though, right? Oh, hold up. Hang on. Look at that. Oh my god. You know, the really annoying thing is, heart didn't feel stressed at all, like not at all really. Just the legs wouldn't move. And that's as much as I can say really. And actually, this would be a lesson for me, but one of the most important findings of the study was that if you use, over a long period of time, like 8 to 10 years, if you use heart rate and you use pace and you use things like lactate threshold to train, eventually the best athletes get the most out of themselves when they train on feel. So ditch the heart rate monitor, ditch the watch. If you watch any of the major races, certainly the track races, you won't see any of the pros wearing watches. They do it on feel. And that is what the study found, is the more you learn about your heart rate, your pace, your lactate threshold, the more you dial into your feel, and then eventually you're able to train on that. So I kind of wish I could have raced on that today, but I gave it what I had. I gave it what I had in the tank, and you know, that was it. Now we just got to wait for Mary to come in, see if she breaks sub 130, if she feels anything like I did. Here's Mary, 132 pretty much.
Congratulations! This is Mary from United Kingdom.
Mary, whose fault was this?
Mine. I accept full responsibility for that morning. I booked it. I bought a
Mary was like, this looks like a nice half marathon to do. It looks beautiful in Hanoi. We've not been to Hanoi. It sucked! Alright, the half marathon, I'm not complaining about the half marathon itself. I'm complaining about our legs during the half marathon, because
our experience personally and physically.
yeah.
So that was rough.
Okay.
Mine and the study's conclusion just confirms something we've all known all along, and hopefully it's going to reassure you that the pros are not superhuman and we can emulate them. If you do intervals, have a long run, do strides and then as many easy runs as is suitable for you during your week, done consistently over many years, you're going to make incredible progress. It is that simple. We can do what the pros do, and if you want to see how a real pro runner stays injury-free for 11 years and more, then watch this video here and get subscribed to the channel. And thanks for watching.